so we're still going with the vertex form. Okay. Now we're gonna learn how can we find the, usually we are given the equation, and then they ask you what's your vertex, what's your axis of symmetry, what's your optimal value, right? And then what's your step pattern? If they already, now what if they give you some key points and they ask you to write the equation from these key points? Okay, so this is working backwards. You're trying to find, you're trying to solve the equation, you're trying to know what H is, what K is, what A is, okay, from information. So, the vertex of a parabola is 3, -7. It also passes through the point 1, -5. State the equation of the quadratic. So what do we know?
The vertex is 3 and -7.
That's right. So the vertex is 3, -7. And this is very important information. Because what do we call this form? This form is called the vertex form. Remember that this form, y equals a bracket x minus h bracket squared plus k, is the vertex form. Okay? So the vertex form tells me what my vertex is. And the vertex are h and k. Do you guys remember that? The h and k is your vertex. So basically, this is h and this is k, right? So all what I have to do for the first part is replace the h and k value into my equation. And I'm already done like 2 of the 3 letters. Okay? So substitute the vertex into the generalization for h and k. Okay? So you just have to substitute that minus and then 3 squared minus 7. Sorry?
So we just fill them in with vertex.
Exactly. Okay? So the h and k are replaced by your vertex point. Okay? So you see that 3 became a -3 inside the bracket, and the k stayed the same.
So anytime we see that, we can write it, if they give us the vertex.
That's right.
They won't always give us the vertex.
If they want you to find it in vertex form, they will give you the vertex. Okay? They're gonna have to give you.
Obviously.
Are we okay so far? Okay? So there's one more letter that I have to solve for, which is A. Okay? That's a bit harder than the H and K. So they gave me another point, which is very important, right? So if that point satisfies my equation, right, I can solve for A. Alright? So what I have to do is, I have to replace this into the X and the Y. So into the X into the X, right? And the other one into the Y, and I have to solve for A. Okay, so you'll see that if I plug in this information in here, I will only have one letter left over.
So what would you put as the X? Would it be 1 or 5?
X, they're matching. X is 1.
Okay, so the 5 just, it's nothing.
The 5 is replacing the Y.
-5.
Because a point is X, Y, right? Y goes in the Y, X
Okay,
goes
I
in
mean,
X.
I meant like, as you're writing the equation, we write it as, yeah, that's what I meant. So it has to be 5.
Yep, -5.
How about that? I don't know if we're gonna write it like that or write it like that.
Okay? So far, I have replaced everything except for A. So I'm solving for A. Okay? Now to solve for A, I have to do BEDMAS. BEDMAS says that I have to simplify the brackets first. So that will be 1 minus 3, which is -2, squared minus 7. What comes after brackets? Exponent. So where is the exponent there? -2 squared, which is? 4. Positive 4, right? So that's A times 4, right? Which is 4A. And then minus 7. What's next? Remember, I am isolating for that A. I want to get rid of everything and keep A by itself. Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Divided.
Before I do division, what do I have to do? Remember?
Multiplication.
Bring this over first. The last thing I want to get rid of is the coefficient of A. So bring it over, it becomes opposite operation. So it becomes plus 7. Now I divide by 4, right? Now I divide by 4, so that will be 2 over 4 equals A. So A is a half.
So all questions we're gonna have to bring them down like that and bring the 7 around?
Yep. Well, I mean, I shouldn't generalize like this because it depends on what you have, but this is basically what you need to do. This is called opposite operation,
Yeah,
where you're moving things back. You don't remember that?
I do remember, I don't like it.
You will.
You have to, like, bring it-
Unfortunately.
I don't like when you have to bring things under.
Yeah,
the equal
over the
sign.
bridge,
You
over
have to
the equal
remember to
sign.
Change it, right?
That's right.
So it would be positive 7.
That's right, and that's why I have -5 plus 7. Okay, so I found the value of A, right? So what I have to do for the last point, for the last thing, is I have to include everything. So it will be y equals, instead of A, I replace it with a half, and then x minus 3 squared, and then minus 7. Does this look like the questions that you got on a quiz, where it gave you this and it tells you to state the transformation, right? We give something like this and it tells you to state the transformation. Or it tells you what is your vertex, what's your x-intercept, what's your step pattern. Remember that these questions? They usually give you this, right? And they ask you to do everything, right? But right now what they've given you the vertex and another point, and they ask you to solve for this. Okay? Now, let's look at the next question. So these are the steps that you have to follow. There is no shortcuts. Okay? It's asking you to determine the equation of the quadratic relation that passes through the point 3, 1 and has a vertex at 5, -7. What's your vertex?
5, -7.
So what are you going to replace?
H and K is,
What's H?
it's 5.
5.
No. Okay. So the important part here, because I've in previous courses, they've all thought that, oh, okay, so this is H, right? Because that's the first thing I've given them. No, it's not. You have to read. Okay? So the vertex is there. What?
Are we gonna make it?
Yeah. You're gonna have to exactly do the same steps that I've done
Oh,
earlier.
do that, not,
Yeah.
actually, I thought you were gonna graph it.
No.
Okay. good.
No, we're not gonna graph. I want you to use the steps that I just did earlier to create the equation for this.